You're welcome to this presentation aimed at helping both yourselves and your sons and daughters make the next big decision on their journey through post-primary school. Unfortunately, this presentation cannot be in person due to the given restrictions, but if you have any questions, queries or concerns on anything that is covered in this presentation, you can always contact me by phone or by email in my school office. Firstly, both from myself and from the Quavenori team, I want to say a huge thank you for your continued support and help as we guide your sons and daughters through their years in secondary school. It does only seem like a couple of weeks ago when we all sat together in the gym and we welcomed your sons and daughters into Ratholt College as first years. It has been amazing to see them grow into the young ladies and gentlemen that they have become, and I'm certain that they will continue on this pathway as they go into senior cycle. I would also like to thank all of the Quavenori team who tirelessly put in work every single day with your sons and daughters. This presentation is going to lead you through the three choices that we have to make. We can do a traditional leaving cert, we can do a leaving cert applied, and we can do a transition year. So I ask you to take this opportunity and over the next coming few weeks to chat to your sons and daughters about the options that lay ahead. Of course, both the Quavenori and myself will speak to each class and try to guide them and direct them into what programme will suit them best. As always, you can reach me in school with any questions or queries. So thank you.
So our three choices are three options to make at senior cycle is our Leaving Cert Applied programme, our Established Leaving Cert, and our Transition Year programme. So the Established Leaving Cert is where students continue straight from third year into fifth year. The senior cycle consists of a 2-year programme where students are expected to pick 7 subjects to study for their Leaving Cert examinations. These examinations will be in June of 2022. Of these 7 subjects, the 3 options of Irish, English and Maths must be taken, unless of course an Irish exemption is in place from junior cycle. 4 other options will be taken, and these can be from any of the subjects offered in Ratholt College. Again, the guidance team will supply a little bit more information on this in relation to different opportunities that could be closed off if certain options aren't picked for a college. Looking more closely at our Leaving Cert Applied programme. So what the Leaving Cert Applied is, it is a self-contained 2-year Leaving Cert programme aimed at preparing students for adult and working life. It emphasises forms of achievement and excellence where the established Leaving Cert has not recognised in the past. The curriculum is made up under 3 different themes. We have our vocational preparation, we have our vocational education, and we have our general education. What LCA looks like in Ratholt College. Traditionally, we have got very small class groups. There's 2 work experience blocks each year, so both in 5th year and in 6th year. Again, students must source their own placement. In the past, it has been a very successful programme, and it does have cross-curricular links in between our subjects. Attendance, though, is key. The State Examinations Commission asks for a 90% attendance across the 2 years. There is a lot of key assignments in each subject, but these key assignments will contribute to the overall grade the student gets at the end of the 2 years. The LCAs also have an additional half day to our Friday. Traditionally, this has been a Wednesday in the past. So who would most benefit from it? So students who are not adequately catered for in the established Leaving Cert programme, and also for students who choose not to opt for the established Leaving Cert. The Leaving Cert applied is an extra option for them. Also for students who have not experienced success in the exam-driven nature that the Junior Cert year has provided. The assessment is done under 3 modes. Each subject key assignments will have to be completed. There is also tasks and interviews to take place. Tasks could consist of project work, and students will be interviewed by external examiners on this. There is also the final examinations, which will take place again in June of 2022, but these final examinations only make up 30% of the overall final grade the student will receive. Leaving Cert Applied certificate is awarded at 3 levels: a pass, a merit, and a distinction. Again, the rationale for choosing Leaving Cert Applied: it prepares students for adult and working life. It recognises all the abilities and talents that students have. It promotes communication and decision making, and it applies knowledge and skills to the solution of real world problems. Again, choosing the Leaving Cert programme does not close off any option for after school. Leaving Cert Applied can still lead into our further and higher education. Also, Leaving Cert Applied can lead straight into apprenticeships, which will lead on to our careers. But choosing Leaving Cert Applied does not close off any option after secondary school. Transition year. So TY is a different year of learning. It's education through experience of adult and working life. It is a different way to prepare for the senior cycle. However, it is a year away from the pressure of examinations, but there is assessments, homework, and exams to be undertaken by transition year students throughout the year. It would also allow students to experience an array of subjects that Rathdode College has to offer, and also allow students to experience subjects that they would not have taken at Junior Cert. It also aims to develop students' leadership skills and to develop links in the community through community work and fundraising. TY engages students in a more active learning experience and learning in a more exciting way. So things to consider if you were to choose or not to choose TY. Rathdode College is committed to providing an educationally sound and challenging course. Students having completed TY in Rathdode College in the past have gone on to achieve great success, and this they put down to having the extra year to mature, and also that year to have work experience to see what different careers look like in the real world through work experience. Age should not be a factor to choose TY or not to choose TY. However, in work experience, if Garda vetting is necessary to undertake that work experience, students must be over 16. So what a TY timetable will look like: it will cover the core subjects such as English, Irish and Maths, and also it allows students to experience the vast array of subjects that are on offer in senior cycle at Rathdode College. There are also some TY modules that all students will experience, and in the past this has been dance, film school, GAA Future Leaders programs. Students will also have the opportunity to take part in Rathdode College News, Goshka and our Pay It Forward module, which has been very successful in creating strong links with the community of Rathout. So what the TY trips and work experience will look like will be dependent on what COVID-19 looks like in September of 2021. Previously, the TYs got to experience a vast array of trips across Ireland and Northern Ireland. These included bonding trips to Lilliput, which traditionally has been an overnight trip. This has been experiences in the RDS, urban challenges, Crow Park trips and history and geography trips, along with all the guest speakers and peer education initiatives that traditionally have run in Rathout College. Work experience takes place under 2 placements, which students are expected to arrange themselves. Something to keep in mind is that Garda vetting may be necessary for some placements. The fees for this year's TY will all be available on WisePay closer to the online application date for TY. In TY, students are tasked at taking ownership of their own behaviour. A point system is in place, and points are awarded for participation in class and in school, and also for a high quality standard of work. These points are added before each trip, and students on negative points will not be travelling on a trip with the rest of the students. Again, this is aimed at involving students in taking ownership of their own behaviour and their own participation in TY in Rathout College. So the application process for TY in Rathout College follows a series of steps. There is an online form to be submitted. Punctuality and attendance are checked over the past 3 years for each student. Students' dealings are also checked and graded. All students take part in a group task. Following on from this, students may be called to interview. In Rathout College, we do have a limited number of places available for TY, so some students may be disappointed. My final piece of advice to parents and students is you get out what you put in to TY. It is a very beneficial year and it opens up so many doors and experiences, but it does involve students getting involved in the different tasks and pushing themselves and stepping outside their current boundaries. So if you require any further details on anything that has been covered in this presentation, you can contact me at my office in school, or you can contact me by my email address. Again, I would urge you to take time over the coming days to discuss the different options with your son and daughter. And in school, the Quavenori and myself will be discussing the different options with your students there. There will be past TY students and past LCA students also making presentations to the third years. So hopefully this will be of some help when coming to your final decision.
Good evening, parents and guardians. Thank you for joining in and listening to our recording this evening on subject options for senior cycle. This evening you will be listening to myself, Miss Grogan. You will be listening to Miss Hogan, one of our other guidance counsellors, as well as our TY and LCA coordinator. In this presentation, we'll be looking at the following: subject choice process and the ERQuest testing. We'll be looking at the points and college entry requirements, senior cycle options, including the established Leaving Cert, transition year and the Leaving Cert Applied programme. We'll be looking at specific subjects for the Leaving Certificate, as well as a major focus on Leaving Cert Applied and the transition year programmes here at Rathout College. As you will be aware, this presentation will be available on the Ratto College website for the foreseeable. You will find the presentation as well as our senior cycle handbook on the website rattocollege.ie, and you will find us under the guidance tab, focusing there on parent information. You will also see that there is a tab on student information and also a tab on the senior cycle handbook, which is available to both students and for parents. Here in Ratto College, we look at subject choice as being an ongoing process. We would encourage our students to speak to individual subject teachers, for example, subjects that the students might be interested in. We would like them to speak to the teachers, especially those who would teach the Leaving Certificate options. Ask them what is involved in their subject, for example, what type of ongoing assessments would be involved. Is there a specific percentage going towards a project? And find out about whether they would actually enjoy the subject at Leaving Certificate or not. We would also encourage our parents to speak to their children about the subjects that they're thinking about keeping on for their Leaving Cert. Do they really enjoy the subject, and do they think that it's something that they're going to enjoy studying for the next 2 years? The AirQuest assessment we will be working on shortly. We're hoping for November or December to get the AirQuest up and going for our third year students, and I will talk about that in the next slide. The subject choice booklet is very important for our students, and we would hope that they would take some time to read through the different subjects and to really understand what is involved at the Leaving Certificate level. As well as that, our guidance counsellors are available to meet with our third year students. There are 3 of us in Ratto College, myself, Miss Grogan, we have Miss Hogan and also Miss Riley. We are available for one-to-one consultations where we can speak to the students about subject options for the Leaving Certificate. But as well as that, if they have an idea as to what they would like to do after secondary school, if they have something in mind, whether it's an apprenticeship, maybe it's college, maybe it's the world of work, we could give them some information and advise them as to what subjects they might need to keep on for the Leaving Cert. For example, one of our popular options for students at third level is veterinary science, and our students are told that they essentially need to keep on Leaving Certificate chemistry in order to get a place at third level in veterinary science. Our guidance department are available to speak to parents on a one-to-one basis. Feel free to give us a phone call, an email with any sort of questions that you have based around your child and the subject choice process. We do look at having the subject choice in for our third year students by the end of January as well. So please feel free to get in touch with us over the coming months if you have any questions at all. The AirQuest assessment is a comprehensive career guidance program designed for third year students. It is based on a detailed interest questionnaire completed online. The important word in those 2 sentences there being interest. For us in Ratto College, we really encourage our students to choose subjects that they genuinely have an interest in. Some of our students might feel the need to keep on a science because they want to keep all of their options open, which is not a bad idea. But in the past, we have found that students have kept on a science subject, as one example, even though they have no interest in science, and therefore the motivation to work in the subject is that little bit more limited. Our AirQuest assessment is designed to assist the students to choose subjects for the Leaving Certificate. This is an excellent resource because of the fact that the questions that are put to the students are based around their interests, their likes, their dislikes. As well as that, the AirQuest will highlight 8 potential careers, which I suppose is not set in stone. Students do not have to take on board the result of the AirQuest. It is just a guideline, and some of our students have found it excellent in giving them a little bit of a direction, a little bit of a nudge towards an area where maybe beforehand they might not have thought about a specific career area. So it is important to keep in mind that this is just a guideline. Students do not have to choose the subjects. They don't have to choose the careers which have been suggested by the EarQuest assessment. This is just a guideline for our students. Over the last number of years, there have been some significant changes to the Leaving Certificate, most importantly, the points which have been given over towards our subjects. As you can see from the table here in front of you, there are different number of points given towards higher level subjects and ordinary level subjects. You can see there down the left hand side we have got H1s and O1s, the H standing for the higher level subject and O standing for the ordinary level subject. I think the most significant feature of the new point system is the fact that students who are doing higher level subjects and achieve a H7, which is between 30 and 40%, now are going to achieve 37 points, which is absolutely excellent. You can see there that there is a difference between your higher level and your ordinary level points, the H5 being equivalent to the O1. So it's important when your children are looking at their Leaving Certificate options and choosing their levels, maybe in 5th year or even in 6th year, that they think about, would they be better off with maybe doing an ordinary level subject and achieving a nice high grade, as opposed to maybe doing your higher level subject and achieving a H7 or a H8. You can see there students who achieve a H8, achieving between 0 and 30% in the Leaving Cert, will achieve 0 points. Similarly, if students were to achieve an O7 or an O8, they will achieve 0 points in the Leaving Cert. An important feature to point out is that students who are doing higher level maths for the Leaving Cert will achieve 25 bonus points if they achieve a H6 and above. So as I mentioned already, students who are deciding between higher level and ordinary level, maths is generally one of those subjects where the conversation gets a little bit more difficult. Students might decide to try and stick with the higher level maths in order to try and get the extra 25 points. So it's important to have that conversation with your children, have the conversation with the teacher and the guidance counsellor when your child gets to senior cycle, and decide what would be the best option for them. When our students get to 6th year, the conversation in guidance class and in subject classes in general revolve around the CAO. So our students will decide whether they want to apply to the CAO to attend a 3rd level institution, whether they want to potentially apply for a post-Leaving Certificate course, such as in Dunboyne College of Further Education. Our students might decide to apply for an apprenticeship, and some of our students might decide to go into the world of work, take a year out, maybe go travelling. For those who are looking to apply to the CAO, we like to tell them that it's not just about the Leaving Certificate points. The points are important in some situations because obviously you do need a certain level of points to get into specific courses, but as well as that there are other requirements, and we call those individual college matriculation. So in certain situations there may be a specific subject that is necessary for entry into a specific course. An example that we have there is a modern language for general entry. In any of our NUI colleges, such as NUI Maynooth, UCD, UCC, NUIG in Galway, a lot of our courses require a 3rd language or a modern language. I suppose this will have a big push on whether your child will keep on the likes of French or Italian for their Leaving Cert. So it's important that they know for sure whether they want to go to those particular colleges. Do they want to open up their options do they want to leave themselves open to applying to a range of different courses? So that conversation is important to be had at home, in school with the guidance counsellor, and maybe with an individual subject teacher. Another example that we have there for a particular subject that might be required by certain courses is Irish in primary school teaching. So a H4, which is a higher level for students receiving between 60 and 70% in Irish in order to gain access to primary school teaching. Another example there is that higher level maths, and generally a H4 is necessary for engineering at level 8 entry. But of course, we would encourage our students to have backdoors, backup courses, alternative entry courses in case that they do not achieve the particular grades required for a certain subject. And lastly, there you can see the points. So we have an example there of arts in NUI Maynooth. 318 points were required for arts in Maynooth this year. And arts is one of the subjects that actually does require a modern language for general entry. Now, a specific grade is not necessary for that. It's important to point out. But the third language is a necessity unless your child has a third language exemption. And finally, from myself here, as I mentioned in the previous slide, Irish or third language exemptions. There is a process for applying for a third language and an Irish exemption in 6th year. If your child is looking to do a third level course and applying for the CAO, there is a process that we will be following. So when your child registers with the CAO, upon registration, there is a box that needs to be ticked to say that your child will be applying for an NUI exemption for Irish and a third language. That will all be gone through in detail in guidance class with the guidance counsellor, as well as that if your child indicates that they are going to be a DARE applicant, the guidance counsellor will sit down and spend some time going through the process with your child. Keeping this in mind, when a student of ours is applying for DARE, it is quite a lengthy process and we do require several meetings with the student. We'll be contacting parents and guardians at home. We'll be having multiple conversations and ensuring that the application is done to the best standard possible.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for listening to this PowerPoint presentation. My name is Ms. Hogan, and I'm one of the guidance counsellors here at Ruthote College. I'm here to speak to you tonight on behalf of the Guidance and Counselling Department to give you a brief overview of the different option subjects which are available to your son and daughter at Ruthote College. So the different subjects that they can choose for Leaving Certificate. So why is subject choice important? Well, firstly, it's very important for students to be happy in the subjects that they're picking for Leaving Certificate, as they must take these subjects for 2 years at senior cycle. Also, it's important for your sons and daughters to be able to maximise their chances of success in the Leaving Certificate by picking subjects which are suitable for them. Students must make informed decisions about and choose subjects which play to their strengths, their aptitudes, their interests and their abilities. And it's also important that students don't accidentally exclude themselves from any third level courses and keep as many options open as they possibly can for future course or career choices. As you can see from the slide, there are 19 different option subjects available for Leaving Certificate established in Ruthote College. So there's plenty of choice for everybody to pick from. So all of the subjects that I'm going to speak about tonight are optional subjects. So the first subject grouping that I'm going to speak about is the artistic group. And the artistic group has 2 possible options for students here, art and music. So Leaving Certificate Art is taught at senior cycle over 3 strands. Create, where students create their own artwork using a variety of materials. Research, where students develop the skills to become visual researchers. And respond, where students are taught how and why they respond to art and others respond to art in particular ways. So assessment of art involves 50% for a coursework assignment which is completed in year 2, a 20% invigilated exam based on the works that students have created, and 30% for a written paper. So this subject might suit students who are artistic and creative, those who like to draw or doodle. It's worth noting that whilst art isn't a requirement for any particular third level course currently, portfolios are an entry requirement for some third level courses, such as those in art, design, graphics and architecture. So if students are considering any of those subjects or options when they leave school, it may be a good option for them to consider Leaving Certificate Art. Leaving Certificate Music is taught over 3 strands: composing, listening and musical performance. Music students are taught about the rudiments of music theory, melody making and reading music. So this subject might suit students who are interested in music, who love music, those who can play a musical instrument or have a musical career ear, or those who see themselves pursuing a career in music or musical performance when they leave school. Assessment is 50% for a practical exam where students can perform on their own or in groups, and the remaining 50% is for an oral and written exam. Leaving Certificate Music is a requirement for Music through Arts in Maynooth, NUI Maynooth, and also a requirement for post-primary education, that's music and religion teaching in St. Pat's DCU. So the second subject grouping I'd like to speak about is the business group, and here we have the choice of accounting, business or economics. So accounting has a strong numeric focus and it may suit a more mathematically minded student. It's a straightforward and unambiguous course and it tends to suit hard-working students. It's not necessary to be taking higher level maths to take this subject. It does teach students about the rudiments of bookkeeping and how to interpret and to analyse figures. It is a course requirement for commerce at University College Cork. Business is a practical course which teaches students about the business world, how to set up a business, how to market products and services. There's a lot of factual information to be learned in this course, so hard-working students can do well here. It might also suit students who are interested in the business world or current affairs, or students who are able to apply business concepts to everyday life. However, it's worth noting that it's not necessary to take business for entry to any third level business course. Leaving Certificate Economics has a revised syllabus introduced first in September 2019. Economic concepts are taught to students over 5 strands. This subject may suit students who are interested in politics, current affairs, psychology. Students should have an interest in how the economy works, how money and banking works, as well as economic policies, problems and conflicts. And it's not a requirement for any third level course. Assessment of accounting and business at Leaving Certificate is by a terminal written exam, so 100% exam on the day. Economics is 80% for a written paper and 20% for a research project which is carried out in 6th year. And the brief for that project is sent to schools by the Department of Education and Science. So the next subject grouping is the humanities or social group. And there's lots of options for students here. So they can choose history, geography, classical studies, religious education and physical education. So to speak about history first, history is self-explanatory really, being about the study of how and why past events occurred. It may suit students who are interested in reading and writing and those who like the English language, as there is a lot of essay writing in this course. It may also suit students who like to put forward different perspectives on a topic or a debate. And history students tend to develop their critical thinking skills very well. Assessment is 80% for a written paper and 20% for a research project carried out in Year 6. It's not a requirement for any third level course currently. Leaving Certificate Geography links well with junior psychogeography. It may suit students interested in areas such as map reading, geology, environmental science and economics. It is assessed by a written exam worth 80% and 20% for a field studies which involves field work and field trip which is carried out in 6th year. Classical studies is concerned with learning about art, culture and drama of ancient Greece and Rome. It may suit students interested in learning about the past, so it links naturally well with Leaving Certificate history, and again requires those studying it to have good reading and writing skills. It is assessed by 100% written exam in the Leaving Certificate. Leaving Certificate Religious Education. Well, this course has a strong basis in philosophy and requires students to be reflective. It may suit students with an inquiring mind, with good writing skills, and those interested in social and cultural affairs, social justice. There is a 20% on offer for coursework assignment, which is completed in the second year of Leaving Certificate, so 6th year, and 80% for a written exam in the Leaving Certificate. Leaving Certificate PE or Exam PE is a relatively new subject to senior cycle, but it's one which is proving very popular. The course is taught over 2 strands: improving my physical performance and gaining knowledge on all aspects of performance. It may suit sporty, active students. Assessment is varied also in this course with 3 different components. So assessment is by a written exam worth 50%, a project worth 20%, and a performance assessment which is worth 30%. It's not a requirement for any third level course, but it is a desirable subject for those who may be thinking about sports science, sports performance, health and fitness, or indeed physiotherapy. So the language group is next, and again there is choice here for students choosing either French or Italian, and that would depend on the language that students have chosen for junior cycle. So for example, junior cycle French students would continue with Leaving Certificate French, and junior cycle Italian students would continue with Leaving Certificate Italian. So languages are assessed by 3 means: an oral exam, a written exam, and oral exams in the Leaving Certificate. It is worth noting that having a third language is an entry requirement for certain courses. Now, not all courses, but certain courses at NUI colleges, particularly those courses based around the arts and the humanities. So the NUI colleges are listed on the slide. They are UCD, Maynooth University, UCC, NCAD, the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland, UCG. The exception, of course, here is for students with language exemptions. So the 5th subject grouping is the practical subjects, which includes construction studies, design and communication graphics or DCG, engineering and home economics. For construction studies, DCG and engineering, the course is divided into a practical component and a theory component. Construction, DCG and engineering may suit students who are more realistic in their thinking and who enjoy practical hands-on activities, as they would form a large part of the coursework. The assessment in these subjects is by written exam, but there's also a large amount of marks going for practical work and for project work, which is carried out in 6th year in these subjects. These subjects are desirable for students who may be thinking about careers in architecture, engineering, design, or technology when they leave school, and they're also very useful subjects for those considering apprenticeships to consider. Leaving Certificate Home Economics lays a good foundation for those thinking about further learning in food science, textiles, craft, social studies. So it may suit students who like making and doing things and knowing how things work. It is a wide-ranging course. It's not all about cooking and sewing. There's a large amount of theory to learn too. But there are natural links in that theory with certain aspects of the Leaving Certificate Biology course and the Leaving Certificate Business course. Assessment of the course is by written exam worth 80% and a practical component which is worth 20% carried out in 6th year. Well, the final subject grouping to speak about in this presentation is the science group, and we have 3 possible lab science options: biology, chemistry and physics, and also applied maths. These subjects might suit students with an investigative mind, and in the case of the sciences, students who enjoy experimentation and practical hands-on activities. So Leaving Certificate Biology involves the study of living things, cells, plants and animal systems. Leaving Certificate Chemistry and Physics have a numeric focus within them, so they may suit students who are comfortable solving problems by calculations. Students who are good at maths tend to do well in Leaving Certificate Applied Maths. It's worth noting that chemistry is a specific subject requirement for entry into 7 courses, being medicine, veterinary medicine, dentistry, pharmacy, and human nutrition, for example. Having a lab science, so have taken a science subject for Leaving Certificate, such as biology or chemistry or physics, is also a requirement for entry into certain courses, such as nursing, medicine, veterinary medicine, dentistry, and most Level 8 Honours Science degree options. There is a very small number of courses at Trinity College Dublin and University College Cork, which require 2 lab science subjects to be chosen at Leaving Certificate. So subject choice do's. So if you're unsure and you want to keep as many options open for yourself as you possibly can in terms of meeting 3rd level minimum entry requirements and matriculation requirements, choose a 3rd language and choose a science subject. Consider carefully your son's or daughter's strengths, aptitudes and interests, and make sure that you're picking subjects that fit best with them. How do you do this? Do your research. Check course requirements. You can check them out on qualifax.ie. Speak to subject teachers. Subject teachers have often taught your child for maybe 3 years. They know them, they know their interests, they know their subject also at Leaving Certificate. Speak to Leaving Certificate students. So speak to students in the subjects. Get the student perspective on a subject. Get the pros and cons from the student viewpoint. Look at Leaving Certificate textbooks in that particular subject. It's often very clarifying when you flick through a textbook, the subjects that are going to fit well with you and those which aren't. Websites are also excellent to help you when you're doing your research, and I've listed just a few of them here for you. To mention 3 in particular, qualifax.ie is the national database of 3rd level courses and their minimum entry requirements, so the subjects, if you like, that are needed to gain entry to a particular course. Careersportal.ie is a fantastic careers website with lots and lots of valuable information on subject choice, courses, careers and lots more. Every senior cycle student at Rathdowd College from TY to 6th year has access to the Reach Plus careers guidance platform. Also for 3rd year students, you can just log on to careersportal.ie, look under the World of Education, Leaving Certificate subjects, and click on any one of the subjects to find a whole host of very detailed and very useful information about that subject. Curriculumonline.ie also offers very detailed information on each aspect of the Leaving Certificate subjects and every detail of their assessment too. Your son or daughter will be fully supported in the subject choice process by the Guidance and Counselling Department at Rathdowd College. This support takes many forms. So 3rd year classes will be visited by a guidance counsellor to discuss subject choice. TY students have career guidance classes weekly with an assigned guidance counsellor, and subject choice will again be discussed there. Each student has access to the EarQuest suite of tests, so the aptitude, abilities and interest tests that students either sit at 3rd year, they can use them again in TY to revisit those test results, and they provide a detailed feedback on the interests and possible subject options for your son or daughter. Students are also very welcome to come and make an appointment with any one of the guidance counsellors, and you as a parent are also very welcome to phone or to email, and I've included each one of our email addresses here. So to sum up, I would just like to say, remember, we are here to help, we are here to guide and support you through the process, and the very best of luck with your forthcoming decisions.